I'm not a huge fan of being the harbinger of bad news or actually being a pessimist and a misanthrope or whatever you want to call me. And if you don't know what I'm actually talking about, but I'm not very convinced about Undead Labs implementing another huge mode or another huge update within the next 1.5 years for State of Decay 2, because you have to keep in mind they're still working on SOD 3 and we won't hear anything big in the next 1.5 to 2 years about SOD 3, which is kind of cool. I'm cool with that because they already put so much work and resources into SOD 2. We want to have SOD 3 with less bugs and as a fully functional game that is even better than its predecessor, even though SOD 2 is already a great post-apocalyptic open-world survival game. I'm referring to the idea or kind of leaks that other content creators had, especially referring to Guru's video about a possible breakdown or chariot mode, because I wouldn't really analyzing and putting too much into or too much thought and possible speculation into the chariot. Just because it was found a couple of months ago, I think by Ghost, that there would be another new game mode. Because if you really go into the thought process and about the gameplay style that Breakdown brought along, I already said that 1.5, almost 2 years ago, a Breakdown mode isn't necessary for SOD 2. Now the big reason is, which I was coming to, the conclusion is State of Decay 2 by itself, the campaign mode, the regular SOD 2 version, right? If you're not going to Daybreak or Heartland, just a regular single player is already functioning in a very similar way like Breakdown. You don't have the complete story-driven thing unless you play it now on Trumbull Valley. Trumbull Valley is now basically a Heartland 2.0 or like the campaign mode is a regular story mode in SOD 1, but you were already able to play SOD 1 campaign mode like indefinitely, and same with Breakdown. The only difference is that Breakdown had like you clear a map, you replay or restart on a map, it gets every time a little harder because there are those breakdown levels, right? Like we're on Breakdown 10 on 20, it gets significantly harder or exponentially, no, not exponentially, well, let me just say it, stage by stage, every level gets slightly harder and increasing in its difficulty. You get less loot and all of that stuff is already implemented in SOD 2. You can already switch maps because then you lose all your enclaves, you lose a couple of vehicles that didn't fit into the parking lots. You have to clear a base or surrounding placards that are covering up a base that you want to move in. You have to build that base up from kind of zero. I mean, now you have the resources once you switch maps. On Breakdown it was slightly different. You lose basically most of your loot. I think it was all of your guns, weapons, items, consumables, stuff like that. So you had to, and you were only able to bring like or carry over a handful of survivors, which was also drastically decreased from every Breakdown level. I mean, yeah, it would be cool implementing the hero selection like you had in the character selection in SOD 1. For example, I was eager to play Breakdown. My favorite mode was Lifeline. With Lifeline I had the most fun, but with Breakdown the longest fun. So, if you get me, I liked and loved Lifeline a little bit more, but especially because of playing Royal Vincent. He wasn't a very special character, but I don't know. He grew close to me, almost similar like Marcus Campbell, and then you can also play both. I was eager to see a Lifeline 2 for State of Decay 2, that is what I was thinking about with Chariot, but Chariot might refer more to the RV that you had to upgrade and stuff like that in SOD 1, but as I told you, so SOD 2 by itself, if you play the regular mode, gets slightly harder. By every day you progress in the game, more playcards you kill, more survivors you recruit, and the two main factors that was already officially confirmed last year in, I think it was late August, mid-September, yeah I think mid-September, before they announced the difficulty sliders. That difficulty is a thing influenced by the factors of time, so each day that you progress in the game, plus a combination of your total, the influence, so, or your experience, and the experience is carried over by your characters, how much experience they gain. So if you have a 8 survivor community, all maxed out heroes, the hero status you already are at your one of the highest difficulties, and then only they, or yeah, the in-game time will slightly increase that. That is something that works very similar in my opinion to Breakdown. Yeah, we now have Trumbull Valley, so they could easier put a Breakdown into that compared to a Lifeline, because for Lifeline they might need to either incorporate the complete new story into the already existing maps, or they had to create Danforth again, like remastering and remaking it, but that would be nonsense because we all know what happened to Danforth in Lifeline 1, unless the actual canon decision is to let Danforth still exist, and instead of blowing it up with a nuke. I won't see that coming, especially because Brand already confirmed it not too long ago that Danforth won't be a thing. They don't have that idea in mind. I neither see Breakdown nor Lifeline happening, or Lifeline 2 for SOD2, because SOD2 already has a lot of content to do with Homecoming, with Heartland, the regular mode that you can basically play very similar to Breakdown. But that's just it, that's just me. I hope you understand my points. So yeah, thanks for tuning in and have a great day.